Welcome back to No, I'm Just a Worm with your hosts, Ann Jeanette.
And Jess?
And in this week's episode, we are talking about social media careers and how you can make money on either YouTube or Instagram and Facebook and all those kinds of pages that you can do.
Yeah. It it amazes me and I don't understand.
It's this newfangled era that we're in, Jess. I think you just don't quite understand. She's a grandma of types, if you weren't aware.
Yeah, I know we discussed this before, but I prefer my non-moving pictures. I prefer my books.
She likes smelling the pages.
It's true. I refuse to use a Kindle. I won't do it.
Yeah, she's used some pretty harsh words for Kindles. But anyway, making money on social media is kind of a recent thing in the last let's say decade or so.
Not even, yeah.
We have like a rough timeline of just YouTube in general because like Facebook and Instagram have really, like I said, in the last decade they've developed more.
They develop more, but I think, when you sit there and think of online celebrities and like how they're making money in certain videos that you're going to watch that brings in ads and all that other kind of junk, it's YouTube.
Hmm.
Like when I think of someone like an online celebrity or someone making money online or making a career of social media accounts, I don't know where I was going with that, but I
I
think,
don't know. I don't. No one knew.
I don't know. No, but I think of YouTube though. Like I don't really consider.
Well, I because I spend a lot no offense, a lot more time on Instagram than Graham over here.
Shut up.
But on Instagram you have different hashtag influencers. I hate using that term. But let's, call a spade a spade. But there are different influencers that might have gotten their start on Instagram from doing like, and they would do sponsored content.
Okay.
And most people can uh understand what a sponsor is. Like they give a celebrity or someone free product, and that person advertises that said product on their channel, on their whatever they have access to. So, if it were like Nike or Adidas or Pepsi, Coke, whatever, they would give XYZ celebrity their product. And then, Michael Jackson does a Pepsi commercial or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a nutshell, most like in the celebrity world, and when I say celebrity world, I mean like, your actors, actresses, musicians, athletes. I think it's what most people think of as a celebrity. I think we're starting to move into like an era now of like is an online celebrity. And
Yes.
that's just how they're known of just going to like a YouTube channel and that's their career. That's how they're making money. And when I say money, I mean like millions of dollars
Oh my God.
type of money. And I think a lot of
Millions.
people are like, well, how does that work? Because, obviously it takes a good level of popularity before businesses are going to want to like sponsor your page and, promote their ads and their product,
Hmm.
on your YouTube page. But it's very like you and I couldn't sit there and be like, hey, someone give us some ads.
Yeah. So like the only so since we've been starting up with everything, so we'll give you like a small, like someone who's just trying to start up their online career. So we started a podcast. We use Anchor to put our podcast on different platforms. So on Spotify, on Google Podcasts. It's not available yet on Apple Podcasts. We'll move eventually in that direction one day. But Anchor is a free service that we can upload the audio. We can use that to send out the stuff. So they have options on there for sponsorships. So you can put in an ad, but the ad that you can start off from the beginning. So right now with the
Huh.
where we are right now, we can put in an ad for Anchor. So they will give you a script, and then you would do the talking points that they give you, and then you can make it your own. Like you can kind of, it doesn't have to be verbatim what's on the script, but there are certain talking points that you have to bring up. But that is like the only thing that I can think of. Any platform that would be like, hey, you can just advertise us because you're using us for
Right.
free. I
Yeah.
feel like that's pretty fair. And then the more and more listeners that you get, the more and more sponsors will be like, hey, you can put in an ad for us in your podcast and we'll give you money depending on how many listens you get, how many downloads you get, blah, 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 X, Y, and
Right.
Z. So, that's the only sponsor that we would get right now as a
Yeah.
starting up. But also, what I had learned is we were trying to like we had just got on YouTube, and I what I wanted to do was on Instagram in our story, how I have seen many other Instagram profiles do was they would add a swipe up link in their story where they would be like, hey, we just added a new video on YouTube, swipe
Right.
up to watch. You cannot add that link into your story until you have 10,000 followers,
Right. And
over
even
10,000 followers.
yeah, and like with the YouTube to even start like a page or to even try to like make money from it, you have to basically like, petition like, hey, like I've been posting X amount of videos, I have X amount of followers, like can I start to make some money off of this? And
Hmm.
it's like 4 hours of video content that have been like watched in a year, and then how many followers? I want to say it was like at least same somewhere
You
similar.
have to have 4 hours of watched
Thank you.
content in a year and 1,000
So it's
subscribers.
right. I thought it was somewhere around there. Um, and then based off of that, though, like by the time you get up to sponsorships, and people are like, "Hey, advertise our stuff. Like you're really popular." I mean, you have to have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of followers before you even get to that point.
Well, I mean, I know a couple. I follow. I subscribed to a few people that I have a that don't have millions of followers. Some that have. I think one she just got over 100,000 subscribers, and then there's another one she has over 800,000 subscribers, and they don't have to have another job.
Okay.
They make all of their money off of YouTube. And then there are other people that have millions of subscribers, and obviously, like they live in fancy ass houses. You know,
Uh,
they can live comfortably for
Yeah.
a while.
I think like one of the things I didn't realize though was like how aside for the sponsorships because that's pretty self-explanatory, and obviously whoever's reaching out to you to do a sponsorship you're going to negotiate what your percentage is and all that other jazz, but also going over like clicks per view and then just clicks, so basically how many people are clicking on your link or your video, and it's timed. I think like if it's clicks per view it has to be open for 30 seconds or longer for it to count,
Yeah.
but I want to say like the average is 18 cents per view, in which case Google takes 45% of that 18 cents.
Oh my God.
No, so they kind of did the breakdown of like, yeah, you could have a couple thousand followers, something small like 5, 6,000. But you're really not going to make any money at that point. Like it's
Yeah.
just going to be pennies, so that's where you get to the hundreds of thousands,
Hmm.
and that's where you start to get some money. And then, of course, I think they were saying the average sponsorship, I want to say, was around like $50 to $100 an ad, depending on how popular you are and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
what I realized, though, too, is looking over like some of the top 10 earners from last year, is that a lot of these people are starting to make money, though, by either touring, getting legitimate show offers. So if you're like, I think one girl was a comedian from last year, was a top earner. She got
Hmm.
2 Netflix specials.
Oh, there you go.
That kid that opens shit. Yeah. Well, Ryan's got a fucking TV show on Nickelodeon
Nickelodeon.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there was an article that like you had said from I think it was from Forbes that you sent me,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
had, the top 10 earners, and there is this child. Forget his last name, but his name's Ryan. His YouTube channel, I think, is called Ryan's World, and he's the top earner. He makes millions of dollars a year opening presents, not opening presents, opening toys.
I
So
don't
that
get it.
that has garnered so many. Like there were one video they said had over a billion views. Over a billion views.
Did it say like how long it took to get that many views?
I it didn't. It was just literally a blurb of
Just
they're like,
holy, this is a fuck ton of views.
yeah, they're like, Jesus, one of his videos even reached over 1 billion. But like, obvious, and this is like, there's a reason why a child is making on YouTube is making that much money, because now, like, we're in an age of social media. We're in a technological age. Parents are getting their kids younger and younger. They're getting them, you know, phones, tablets, whatever. They younger and younger. They're getting social media profiles, and people obviously at some point along the way were like, "Hey, we can really get
Really.
views based on the fact that like these kids are watching YouTube."
Yeah. Well, not yeah. I was gonna say. I mean,
Isn't
there's
Peppa Pig only on YouTube?
yeah. I think so.
Peppa Pig. Seriously? Peppa Pig. That's like, and she's got toys, she's got everything. Fucking
I mean, I think with the kids though, it's you know, I don't know. I mean, for kids that are just so easily sucked in to something that's easily entertainable, why kids find it amazing to watch another kid open fucking toys, I don't get it. But I mean, I've been over to a couple of our friends' houses that have young kids, like toddler age, and now with smart TVs, you can access YouTube from your television.
yeah.
And that's all they want to do. It's not, let's watch Nickelodeon, let's watch Nick Jr., whatever. It's, let me just flip through YouTube on like the kids section.
Yeah.
And they just get sucked into like these really fucking bizarre videos for kids. But I'm like, it's not an ongoing storyline. There's no plot to it really. I mean, some of them that are like with Peppa Pig, I'm sure there's like some type of storyline, but it's just it's just bizarre, and that just blows my mind because it's for me it's like it's just an internet platform. Like it's not a TV network. You know what I mean? And I think that's
Yeah.
where it kind of like fucks me up a little bit where I'm like,
Well,
what?
you can get YouTube Red or YouTube Premium or whatever. That's a subscription service
Mm.
that you can get, kind of like Hulu and Netflix, and you could watch you can watch YouTube videos ad free. But so that's the workaround where like you pay a subscription so you don't have to watch the ads, but they're still getting your money. And that's one of the things that you can, once you start making money from YouTube, you'll make, if there are people that are subscribed to YouTube Premium or whatever it's called, you get some of their money from their subscription.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
And
But
then, the other people that don't have the subscription, obviously they're watching, they have to go through the ads, so you're getting that. But also another way to make money is like, I watch a couple different like beauty YouTubers, and they have affiliate links. So brands will see like, hey, they've got like a lot of followers, they're very popular. Let's give them a discount code, or let's make them an affiliate where they put a link in their description box saying like, hey, if you buy anything through this link, I will get money.
right.
Or if you use my code on X, Y, and Z product, I will get money. But you'll also save money, so it's kind of like a quid pro quo.
Well, I think it's a win-win for all three people. So it's like a win for the product, like for a
The brand,
ColourPop,
yeah.
the brand. Like ColourPop was one.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up on the idea of holy shit. There's a lot of these was it YouTubers,
YouTubers, yep.
YouTubers. They're getting thousands of subscribers, millions of subscribers. Like I just send them like a quick pellet that's costing them like nothing to send out. Basically, it's like pennies for
Yeah.
them to advertise. Like I get my name out there, like little to no money advertisement that's just going to be blasted around the world like millions of times like that.
Yeah.
So they're getting their name out there. The YouTuber, mute.
I think you like saying
I
that
do.
word.
um, I mean, obviously they're making some money off of it by doing this, and then
Mhm.
like you said, the consumer is saving a percentage as well. So it's just I feel like the marketing gurus back in like the 50s and 60s, like the Mad Men, are like, "Ah,
They're so mad that
we
they're.
missed our calling.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The madmen fucking pissed. But that's like, it's amazing. There's so many different ways that they can make, and like, if they use all these different avenues to make money, then it's going to be so easy, and it'll be quick, even though it's like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Like it adds up. And
It
then
adds up, but I feel like for me, like, and it's just me and the way I like to make my monies. But I find, like, personally for me, I think it would be very stressful to have like so many brands that are trying to work with me and have to do so many different videos and have revenue streams coming in from so many different places. Like, that would freak me out.
well, like you can obviously you can choose who you want to partner with and who you don't, and like there are certain companies will give a creator, an influencer, a product and say like, yeah, just use it, give us your honest review. Like BoxyCharm, that
Yeah.
is a subscription service that we both have. So it's a makeup and skincare subscription service. You pay like $25 a month, and you get full size products. You get about 5 to 6 full size products, and they send out their there's a couple different subscriptions you can get. You can get the regular BoxyCharm, there's BoxyCharm Premium, and there's BoxyCharm BoxyLux or whatever. And they all have different benefits. They all cost different amounts. And they'll send these things out to influencers. And their whole thing is like, hey, we send you the product because you have X amount of subscribers. All we want you to do, just give the honest review. So if you don't like it, fine. But if you do, great. Just, obviously you can break it down if it's worth it.
Right.
And 9.5 times out of 10, it's fucking worth it because
Yeah.
it's like we also were once subscribed to like Ipsy, and those are like trial size for $10 a month, and now I
You
think
know.
it's $12 a month. But trial size, when you're getting shit that you're like, ugh, some of the trial sizes aren't even fucking worth it.
No, you literally can use it once, if that, and it's done.
It's
Like,
done.
that's it. So I'll pay the extra money to get full size premium shit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like that, someone like BoxyCharm, they're like, you don't have, there's no scripts that you have to do. There's no nothing. You just tell us your honest review. And I think there might be some talking points because I think just like how I had broken down, like, okay, it costs X amount a month. You get so many X amount of full size products.
Yeah.
And then,
Not only that, but I mean, BoxyCharm obviously is getting advertisement, but again, like the brands that are in the box are also getting their
yeah,
name out there as well. Because it's not like they're just gonna be like, "Oh, I got this color palette that has purple in it and blue." Like, they're gonna be like, "No, I got this color palette from wherever the fuck."
yeah, from like Tarte or Urban Decay. Well, I don't think Urban Decay is in there, but they use
Storybook. Another,
Storybook
yeah,
Cosmetics. But they have bigger name. If you're into makeup, they have bigger name brands in the box. And some of them will even make things exclusively for BoxyCharm,
right.
which I think is pretty cool. But like they give you a little card in here in the box that breaks down what it is and how much it is. So you're like like every month, pretty much, it's the box is worth well over $100, and
Easily, yeah,
all you did was pay $25.
yep,
So just like how we broke it down, like, hey, is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. So even if the person doesn't like the products in the box, that was 1 month, and you paid $25 for things that you might not use, but the products were worth over $100.
right.
Whereas like the next month, you could love everything in the box. So that's that I think, like you said, it's there's a no lose situation for anyone,
Right.
really.
Yeah.
Like most people are like, yeah, I'm out $25, but now I got all these products, and you can give them to your friend, and you can blah blah blah. So someone's going to win, and it's always going to be BoxyCharm. But so like it's the same thing with any brand that sends stuff out to these influencers. Like you said, that it's a win-win for everyone.
I think it's just crazy though, like, again, how people become an influencer and how much time it took them. I think I have a lot of people that are like, well, like, what does it take? What kind of content is out there? And it varies. The content
Yeah. Oh my
varies like
god.
so much, but it's kind of this weird balance where I think Elle and I were talking about this months ago. I think it was Guy Septicon.
Okay.
She subscribes to, and I, if I remember correctly, I think it was him who was like, not very big on YouTube, kind of post the stuff every once in a while. I was basically trying to work like a 9 to 5 job, come home, I get content up there each week, if not a couple times a week. And there's like came to a passing where he got popular enough where he's like, well, either I keep doing what I'm doing or I quit my full time job that I know I'm going to bring in money each week and pay my bills.
Yeah.
or I quit, I leave that and I do this full time and just pray to God that it continues to grow.
Yeah.
And that has to be, for someone who doesn't already have money, a decent amount of money to invest in this and know that they can kind of float off savings for a while. That has to be like really unnerving.
Well, I think it starts out where people are creating out of a passion for doing so. Like that's how a lot of the YouTubers that I follow on YouTube is that like they started doing YouTube like makeup tutorials and stuff because they just liked playing with makeup. And then enough people started subscribing and watching and liking and all this kind of stuff that it started taking off, but for a lot of them it took years, 5 or 6 years of doing consistent content before they actually got to a point where they're like, "Oh, okay, this is a viable career. Like I can make money off of this."
Right.
And obviously there's no handbook for how to handle anything that has to do with a social media career, but they're all kind of figuring it out as they go, but it also depends on the content that you're creating too. Like some content is going to be more popular. Like there are a lot of
I
gaming
think that was
channels.
like one of the number one as far as like content that you're going to put out there that's going to be like, "Ooh, what's this?" and let me subscribe was gaming.
Yeah. And like how I have said to a lot of people many times, like that you can find it on YouTube.
Oh
Like a
yeah.
how-to video, an obvious like literally like how to cook, how to do anything with a car, how to do like a
IY.
DIY project. I can talk. DIY project like fucking drywall and shit like that. Like someone has made a YouTube video on it. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
I admit too. I mean, the one, and I don't know why I never subscribed. I should when I'm physically able to go back to doing yoga. That was one of the things that I kind of wanted to do, like in between going to the pole studio when I was active in that and home, where I was like, there's gonna be times where I can't make it up to the studio, or there's a class like I don't really want to take, but I want to be active, and I didn't really want to pay another membership somewhere else.
Yeah.
I was like looking up YouTube channels for yoga, and I found a yoga with Adriene, and I love it. I love the content that she puts out. And I've noticed too, like if you look back at kind of like the room that she's doing yoga in over the years, where she's at now, I'm like either she's using someone else's space or she making some good money because her house looks fine as fuck now.
Oh yeah.
And I
And
always wondered that though. Like I was kind of like, are you like, is this? Do you even go to like a yoga studio anymore to teach classes like in person, or is this just it for you?
yeah, I mean it could be the case where like she doesn't actually need human interaction. But living the dream. But that's that like they it is funny when you would look back at all of these different people's channels, you look back at how they all started. They had modest beginnings like we all do.
Yeah,
And it because they kept going, they kept making the content, they now they're successful.
right.
Now they made it into a viable career, but now there's that catch 22 of like now you got to keep fucking doing it. So if you ever get tired, well, tough shit.
Well, I think some of them, again, like I brought up earlier, depending on what kind of content you're doing, how popular you get, and what kind of companies that you're working with for sponsorships. Like I said, a lot of these online celebrities they have their own merchandise now. They're being asked to do,
Mhm.
either guest spots on TV shows or have their own TV shows outside of YouTube. Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit more guaranteed cash flow coming in,
Yeah.
and a little bit more opportunity maybe to grow your craft
Yeah.
and expand on whatever you're doing. I mean, like Jeffree Star, he has his own makeup line now, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
And that he started about 5 years ago once his YouTube career started kind of like having like an upward trajectory. And now he has millions of subscribers and he just recently bought a multi-million dollar mansion.
ugh,
Um so I mean, he and his boyfriend are no longer together, so RIP, but that's the guy's not dead. I don't know why I said RIP to their relationship, not anyone being dead. Um but like what I find like what I find kind of funny is when I was trying to set up our YouTube channel, I was looking at so like it is really really hard to figure out YouTube if you don't already know how to work it. From a creator standpoint, like watching the videos is one thing, but like I was trying to upload our videos the other day and it's it's difficult and it was a huge pain in the ass because you have to upload the video, it has to render for so long, and then it has to process for even longer. And then if you don't have a verified account, you go through all of the hours of rendering and processing for them to be like, no, you can't. You can only upload a video that's 15 minutes long or less. And you're like, what? Well, how the fuck do I get verified? Oh, well, we just, we send you a verification code and you're like, to your phone. I'm like,
Thanks for starting that right out
why
of
didn't
gate.
you, like, the only reason I found out was because there was a little pop up thing that said, here, learn more. And I was like, well, I'm gonna fucking click it. And then it said, hey, we'll send you a verification code to your phone number. So I did that. They're like, okay, you're verified. I'm like,
What?
I just
Yeah.
wasted hours of my time trying to upload this video to have it like render, process, blah, 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 blah. And then for you to tell me, no, that didn't work because you're not verified.
Like, let's just
Yeah.
start there.
Yeah. But then while I was waiting for it to upload and process again, I was looking through all of their, what you can do with a verified account and how you can eventually start making money. But again, you have to have X amount of subscribers, X amount of hours watched in order to even put up like a merch link.
Right.
So you can't have a merchandise link put up there until you have so many subscribers. And I that's not just like doing merch through YouTube. It might be putting up merch in general because a lot of creators will also use Patreon. And
What's that?
what is it?
Yeah.
Patreon is it's a platform where so let's just say an artist does paintings and they get popular enough where people are like, I want to buy your stuff. So they will be like, okay, I'm going to put up a Patreon, and it is like a subscription service, but you can pledge different amounts of money for different perks.
Okay.
So kind of like the Indiegogo
Right.
thing. That's where like people will be like, okay, well, I'm going to give you $1 a month, and I'm going to get this perk every month.
Right.
And for like certain people, it could be behind the scenes of them doing their project or whatever, or it could be things that won't be available to anyone else, only to Patreon subscribers or patrons they call them. But that's one way for artists and creators to get another source of revenue.
Okay.
Is they will have this, and that's guaranteed money every month
Right.
from however many people are patrons. And then you can have, like you said, there's different pledges that you can do, but
Yeah.
then there's different perks that they get based on those pledges.
Sure. Apparently, you said. I mean, almost damn near identical to Indiegogo.
Yeah, there's different ways. It's just I don't know what Indiegogo's like if they take a percentage or
Oh,
whatever
okay. Right.
Patreon
Yeah.
does.
Right.
I don't know for sure because I've never actually tried doing either one. But I know there are a lot of artists that use Patreon, and I think it might just be geared more towards them.
That makes sense. I mean, I think, for stuff like that, it's nice to have a specific platform for, like you said, artists,
Yeah.
and I have noticed too, actually, like, speaking of BoxyCharm and like these monthly subscriptions that you can get a product, they're doing one now for artists.
Oh
I
yeah.
noticed that. So I think it's starting to become really popular. And again, just another creative way based on just us wanting to go out less and less and
Yeah.
wanting product to come to us.
Amazon now.
Amazon now. Put it in my hand now. Yeah, I just think people are starting to catch on how to keep up, in the social media world, the internet world of just getting their product out there, but also how fast, that it can catch on.
Hmm.
But I wonder though, like, if YouTube or essentially Google is taking a percentage, of the
Yes.
income that you're making, why force somebody to hold off to make money until they reach X amount of subscribers? Like, they're making money either way,
But they could be making a lot more money if they have a lot more followers.
but eventually you'll get there,
Will you?
ideally. It's just my
But
mind
then
is
again, if
like,
they're paying taxes on all of this, are they?
true. I don't. Well, you ask the fucking CEO of Amazon. Fucking cunt isn't
Oh.
paying any fucking taxes, so you know.
Yeah, I won't stop using Amazon though. So
I know. Neither will I.
we're part of the problem.
We we never said that we weren't.
Yeah, we never said we would help with the solution. But anyway, I would imagine that it's not really worth it for them to try to like charge them money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I don't know. Just I guess so. I mean, you're right. Probably. I'm assuming, that's income that you have to pay taxes on, and all that other jazz. But for me, like, reading over some of the history of YouTube, I think they were saying currently there's over 500 videos per minute being posted.
Yeah.
That's insane. So for me though, I'm sitting there thinking, well, if I give everybody the option to potentially make money based off of clicks or views, and if they choose to have that option, like the amount of money that you could make even more so, I don't know. Just for me, like I don't know if that's just like the money hungry bitch in me that I'm like 500 videos per minute, and if like half of those wanted to, sign up to get 18 cents per click or view.
Well, the thing is, like, again, they don't make money until advertisers want to advertise on that channel.
Yeah, I don't. It was see that's what I didn't understand looking into it though, because when I was looking into the you know 18 cents per clicks and or per views, it was for your video, not necessarily per the ad.
But
Was my understanding
but
of
it was
it.
probably like sponsored content or a video that had ads on it.
Maybe
'Cause I
it
think that's
didn't. I mean, that makes more sense, but the article I read didn't make it sound like that because it made it sound like once you have the 400 hours a year and the 1,000 subscribers or whatever, then you are eligible to make money.
yes, via
Right.
ads.
Well, it said based on the clicks or whatever, 18 cents, and then it said eventually once you're popular enough to get ads, which is what people go for. So it just the way that it read it made it sound like it was two separate revenue streams. I mean, what
I
you're
mean,
saying makes a lot more sense.
I'm trying to think of what it was saying when I was looking at how to be monetized. It could be though from the anyone who is a premium subscriber
Hmm.
watching the video.
Right.
So it could be like you make money off of them
Right.
and then they take
Yeah. So
they take it.
that's what I think. That's what I think I was more or less reading in the beginning, and then eventually off of that you get
Ads.
the
Yeah,
ads, which
I
like
don't
you
know.
said, based on how many times somebody opens that link for the ad,
Yeah.
you get X amount of money. It was just there were so many different ways that you said, just like little nuances and different ways that you could make money. And I think all of us are like, just ads, sponsorships. And that is how you make the big bucks. But I think they were breaking it down to the little ways that you can start making money if you're not popular enough to get those sponsorships yet.
Mm-hmm.
You try not to yawn. There it is. Just
Yeah.
let it go.
Sorry.
Just let it go. Like, what's wrong with her face?
I ask myself that every day.
Shut up. Ah,
Ah.
but no, I mean, I think, honestly, I think us just doing our little rinky dink podcast here kind of gives me a better appreciation of someone who's trying to actually make a career out of this and the amount of work that
Oh
goes
my
into it.
god.
Because I think, a lot of people, and at some point myself included, were like, I don't understand how the fuck these goddamn people are making millions of dollars a year and all they do is post fucking videos online that's like 5 minutes long. How the fuck does that even make sense? Why not me?
Yes, I ask myself that a lot. Like why like oh my god, like I could totally just make videos and post them online and then once you actually like try that, you realize um just how much audio quality matters, video
Mm,
quality matters,
hmm.
um time.
So much time.
Like I said, I was uploading a video for hours hours. So the one thing that we had, like we had bad video quality. So the video when I had put it on my computer was an MPEG, which if you are unaware is old school. Now it is all MP4s. That is a video file. MP4 is a video file that we are familiar with now. It is a higher quality video file. An MPEG might as well stand for fucking stupid.
Dinosaur.
Yeah. So that in order to turn that MPEG into an MP4, it had to render in iMovie for hours. Hours. I had to wait until the next day.
Oh my god.
So I had to turn into an MP4 before I could even use it. And then I had to edit the video. And we had two different video streams. Fucking. I had to take, content from one camera and then another camera and then try to splice them together. I did not go to school or anything like that, nor am I learned in such a way.
But
But
you did it.
I did it. Fucking looks not great, but I did it.
It doesn't look that bad. Did you use YouTube a lot to
I didn't. I
Oh
should have.
wow.
I used Steve because Steve was like, "Oh yeah, like you can do this and this," but we did have to Google ways to like, can we add two different like video things in iMovie and then just splice between the two of them? Because at first it was like, no, you can only add one, and I was like, well, it's
This is
just gonna be Jess's face then because I'm not gonna fucking put it on. But
you
we
wouldn't have
figured
just put your face, just you the entire time.
no, it took me forever to render your face, so I was gonna put it on there.
Oh, just because you put in the work and that's just what it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, your video was already
Oh,
in
okay.
there. So yours was the main video, and then I had to have the video of me underneath.
Right.
And then whenever you weren't talking, if I was talking, I cut to me
Right.
and then cut back to you and then me, whenever blah blah blah. That took 5 years to do. So by the end of it, I was like, all right, I'm lazy. It's just gonna be like, because at first it was like whenever anyone made a slight sound, I would cut to them and then cut back, and then I was like, that is way too much work, and I don't want to do it. So I did a little bit half-assed near the end, but so there was that, and then I had to add like the title page, the music, blah blah blah, effects. That took more time. Then I had to export the video, which took a lot of time. Then I had to upload the video, which took even more time. And then it had to process. So all of that takes time. And like I would watch videos of the people that I watch on YouTube, and they would be like, "Oh my god, sorry guys, like this video is supposed to be up this day and it won't go up until this day because it was taking forever to process on YouTube." And I was like,
What does that even
really?
mean? Yeah.
Really, bitch? What does that even? And then I lived it. It was awful. And so like it's not just that. It's not just making a video, it's doing all the other little tiny shit that is a pain in the ass, but obviously with more practice it'll get easier and everything like that.
Right.
But that part will get easier the more and more you do it. But you still have to put content out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, just the preparation for it, and what I think we're learning of trying to get multiple episodes done at once, and really think ahead of time on what episodes we want to do and the content that we want to put out there, topics to discuss. Again, takes more time and more prep.
Yeah.
For someone who's like, I'm basically an online celebrity now. I have this popularity. Like I need, like you said, I need to keep this going, and especially if it's just you.
Well, once they get to a certain point, they
Well,
hire people, and
that's
then
true.
that doesn't fucking matter. All they have to do is just be in front of the camera.
Well, I loved one I was watching. I think I don't know if you and I had discussed this one before, but it was a oh god, it was a series on Netflix, and the first episode was going over counterfeit makeup.
Oh,
I don't know what we're reaching for. If we reach to each other, are we gonna get
yeah, I
the
don't know.
answer? I know, but anyways, so they were going over like how to spot counterfeit money or counterfeit money, counterfeit product. But so they had went over though too,
First, you
like
gotta feel it. Hold it out to the light. You gotta lick it. Don't lick it. Don't lick money, people.
getting it so dirty, so incredibly dirty.
What?
But obviously going over how to spot counterfeit makeup, and they also went over YouTubers. But what blew my mind, and I guess it does make your life easier, and I guess it does make things go quicker. But they were going over this one YouTuber who had started, like you said, in her house, just going over products, going over makeup techniques, stuff like that. To what she has now is her own beauty line, so all of her own makeup stuff like that. But so she's going over like her setup to do an episode, and then like while they're going over this, she has her own makeup artist to do her makeup for the makeup artist that's presenting I'm like, what? Why aren't you doing your own makeup? You can do it. Why are you
She spent a
spending?
lot of time and energy doing everything else.
I guess, but I'm like, you're spending money to do someone to do your makeup that you could.
That's
you
what
could do
Jeffree Star
yourself.
does.
Does he? He has
Yeah.
someone do his own like someone does his makeup for him.
Not in the video, but
Well,
like for
obviously, no.
everything else, yes. So like if he's
But
doing a
why?
tutorial or if he's doing a try on, he'll do the makeup. But if it's like a video where he already comes on with makeup on, someone else is doing it.
It's the Jew in me, I guess. But why are you going to spend money?
With the 0.1 Ashkenazi Jew. What was it, 3%?
Yeah, 3%. I am very tight with my money. And
Sphincter tight.
it's like, yeah, I am very tight with my money unless I get into a certain mood, and then I splurge.
Tight like a toiger.
So,
But when she spends, she spends.
like the house or the
The
car.
car. And then the other car.
Shut up, I got another car.
The other car wasn't even old before she got the
No,
the
it
newer
wasn't.
car.
It was not. But it sucked in the snow, and after that one winter, I just was fucking over it. But anyways,
The winter where you were making fun of me, like, are you still scared of the snow? Yes, I got stuck in it for 6 hours. That one?
was it? Did I already have the new car? I did
No.
have the new car by then. Yeah, I did. That was last November, and I got the car last October. Yes.
No, the
No,
one
which
that I got stuck for 6 hours, that
Which
was when
one
I
was
still worked
that?
at Target.
Yeah, that we all got stuck in?
Did that was not last November.
Yes, it was.
2019?
No, it was 2018. No, it was 2018. Yeah, so I had the car a year this past October 2019.
Okay.
So, and it was that shit snowstorm was in November. It was a month after I got the new SUV.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so I'm tight with money.
Where were we even
So, I
going?
don't know, but I'm really tight with money usually, unless I get in a mood, and then I spend a lot of money. I go big or go home. So it's either spend no money or spend thousands of dollars. There is no in between.
There really isn't.
There really isn't. So in my mind, I'm like, you're a fucking makeup artist. Why are you going to pay someone to do your makeup that you can do just as good? Like just as well. Like why?
Because your arm gets tired and you just don't wanna. It's like if there's a hairstylist that like just I want someone else to do my hair.
I'm going to guess if that's all you do all day.
Yeah. Just imagine like you're doing it all day for like fucking videos and then now you just want to go somewhere nice or like there's one video where you don't have to do makeup tutorial.
Right.
I'd be like, fuck yeah. Do my makeup for me. Pamper me.
I also don't like people touching my face, so like when I had my makeup professionally done for the boudoir photo shoot, it was like I'm like, you are so close to my you're on my eyeball right now, and like one wrong move, this false eyelash is gonna go through my eyelid.
But they are also hopefully and presumably professionals.
No, she
so-
was. She was fantastic, but it's just my weird thing where I'm like, get away from my face. Get out of my business.
Oh, the idiosyncrasies that you have.
I know.
Like I always feel like, oh my god, I can't breathe when they're like this close to my face. Because what if I
Yes.
have really bad breath? I don't
I
know.
probably have obnoxious mint breath because I have that paranoia of like my breath is gonna be awful. So then I'm just like mince, mince, mince.
And so they're going to talk to you, and just they all come tumbling out of your mouth, and you're just like, "Oh, la, la, la."
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to shove them back in. I'm sorry. All right.
Oh, just
People listening to
chipmunking.
the audio of this will just be like, "What
What?
the fuck?" So we apologize, guys.
I don't apologize for
Subscribe
anything.
to our YouTube.
Yeah. Help me not be so cheap. No.
Help me to help you. Help me to help you.
Uh,
Where are we going?
I don't know. Let's go back on the train of just it's just hard. Basically, I think our point was that we were getting into is that it is very difficult to make a career out of this.
Yes. So
Like,
like you have consistency. What I've heard from several people is like people will ask artists, creators, whatever that already have like an established career. They'll be like, do you have any recommendations for people starting out? And they would just say, just start. And whatever it is, just post it. Because like you kind of like you learn by doing. And that's like I'm also in a podcast group on Facebook, and a lot of their advice is similar.
right.
Like, hey, do you guys have like I want to start a podcast. What do you recommend that I do to start? And they're like, just do it. Just start. They're like, well, should I get like really good audio equipment? Like, and fucking, we didn't. We had
No, we
shit
did
ass
not.
audio equipment, and then finally her boyfriend took pity on us and let us, borrow some of his, and this is significantly better.
So much better.
But like, it did help to just start. Like, we started with nothing, a computer and 2 USB mics,
Yep.
and
And a
look
bright.
where we are now.
We've come so far.
With 6 subscribers on YouTube.
Listen, we just started this YouTube
I
page,
know, I know, I know,
okay?
I know,
All
I know.
right, you act like we've been up for like months.
I know. I'm joking. I am very grateful that the people that do listen and watch us do listen and watch us.
Yeah.
Like, very grateful for the listeners that we have, and I still enjoy doing this. It's not, I don't know if I like hearing myself talk or whatever, but
Now the truth comes out.
I did it just so I could hear really good quality audio. Mm-hmm. But like I enjoy just like having discussions. I enjoy communication, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. And there are so many different things that you can do to create, and it's not just us with the podcast. Like Steve has got his Cable Guy comics, and like there's just with any of this kind of artistic, creative stuff, I think you just have to just have to start,
Yeah.
put yourself out there, and there is something for everyone.
And I think, like, I don't know, I guess discussing this entire topic and looking into it, not only of learning how you actually make money and how that works and the requirements,
Mhm.
that you have to have X amount of subscribers and all that other junk and how hard it is to put your content out there and to continue to grow is realistically like any other business. You know what I mean? Like independent business that you're going to start up on your own. It just happens to be online and, it reaches people a lot faster versus,
Mhm.
trying to advertise your storefront essentially.
Yeah, and I feel like with something like this, you can kind of start literally from nothing. Like you could start with a phone doing like
Yeah.
YouTube videos, and then as long as you have something to edit the video and then upload, you're good to go. Whereas like if you were going to open up your own small business, like you would need a place for the business and this, that, and the other
Well,
thing,
yeah,
like
you need
all this kind of
permits,
stuff.
zoning, bank approval, um, insurance, the whole nine.
Yeah, and like there are certain aspects of that you need for like your own branding for like legal purposes, in case, just to make sure that no
Yeah.
one wants to like sue you for anything, like copyright infringement or anything like that. Like YouTube's very particular about that, obviously. That makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
So the what is it, the Federal Trade Commission, you have to be very explicit once you have so many subscribers and everything. You have to be very explicit whether your content is sponsored content, if there's an ad. um, you have to be very clear about which links are affiliate links, and which links you're not making money off of, blah 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 blah. And then also for like anyone who's starting on YouTube in general, you have to also be very explicit whether your channel is made for kids or whether it's not,
Yeah.
because then that there's different kind of they how they censor you will be more stringent whether your content is made for
Yeah.
kids.
Well, that too, and I'm sure it goes into their search algorithm and all that fun jazz too.
Yeah, so like if there is a parent out there that has like they put on the parental controls for YouTube and then they would like our stuff wouldn't come up at all because I was very clear. I was like, none of our stuff is made for kids,
No,
not even a little bit. Not like there's not going to be one video that will be made for kids because that would be ridiculous.
it's my fault. No, I have the mouth of a sailor.
I'm pretty sure we're both equally
That's
guilty.
true.
Um, but yeah, there's like they there are a lot of hoops you have to jump through, but different hoops than if you were to actually make an actual physical brick and mortar
Yeah.
store or
Well,
anything
I
like
think
that.
the big thing with like the brick and mortar store is like you said, I mean with like the YouTube stuff like that, you really don't have to have hardly any money to start up, right? So I mean, like what the microphones that you got were like $60 total,
Yeah,
and
they
that
were
was
fucking
literally
cheap.
all we needed to start.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're trying to get a storefront, like you 9 times out of 10, if you're at the average Joe, needs some sort of loan. Like you need
Yeah.
some sort of business loan, which is like a whole nother hoop that you have to jump through, and
Oh my god.
documentation and like spreadsheets and I don't know, paperwork. I don't know if there's actual
Well,
spreadsheets, but paperwork to show that you like that you can sustain this business and like your estimated growth and all that other jazz for them to lend you this money.
yeah.
And like I said, you still have to go through the permits and the zoning
Hmm.
inspections, stuff like that. I mean, it's my mom recently, a few years ago, started up her own business, and it took months to like find a place, get the bank to approve the loan, get zoning to approve it, and like chase down where you even have to go to apply for this shit.
Yeah.
Business permit, it's a
It's a
whole
it's
process.
a lot of risk for possibly very little reward,
Yeah,
and it's going to take a while to get anything back. Like they're I think the average I'm gonna make up a number, but like it takes I want to say a few years in order to make any like to start being in the black.
yeah. So I know it's what they say if your average business make or break 5 years. So in 5 years, if you are not making some sort of revenue, the chances of you making it past that fifth year is slim. And then it's like a couple of years, and like you said, I don't remember like the exact amount, but it's at least 2 or 3 before you can break even and then start to. So your first year, you need to go into it with a cushion, knowing that you're gonna fucking lose money.
Yeah,
Like you are not making money. You're basically making enough money to keep the lights on.
exactly. And I think with a lot of people that actually end up having successful small businesses is they had a lot of support.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with like doing any kind of creative thing like either Instagram or YouTube or whatever. A lot of people that actually ended up making successful careers out of it was they had a lot of support along the way. They were once they made that transition from like, okay, this is no longer just going to be like my side gig that I'm doing for funsies.
Right.
Now I'm going to try
Yeah.
to make it into a career. They had someone there to help them along the way, whether it was like another form of income, or they had a place to stay or whatever. The one guy, Brandon Ferris, I think he was living in his car
God.
while he was doing it. So he did it the very hard way, but he also had friends that eventually helped him, like his now girlfriend, like he was living with her because he was living in his car.
Right.
um and like he was living with her while he started up like doing like he was just making videos. He was making videos every day and posting every day. And
Yeah.
that's he still does that to this day, and he's actually getting to a point where he can sustain himself now. He bought like a building or rented out a space in a building. He has his own place now, blah blah blah. But it took some hard times.
Yeah.
He took that leap and he was just like, you know what? Um, gonna quit my job, or well, they gave him them. They gave him an ultimatum. They were like, hey, we see that you're making videos and it seems like your content is kind of in a way about us. So you can
Ah.
either stop or stop working here. So he was like, well, I guess I'm gonna stop working here.
Oh my god, I
So
would shit a brick. There'd be no way.
yeah.
You know, I don't like that kind of change.
No, she doesn't. But yeah, so like it could there's a lot of sacrifice when it comes to some like stuff like this if you
Yeah.
wanted to make a viable career out of it.
But I think, I don't know. And again, like going back to some of the stuff that I've seen looking into this and top earners is that I think inevitably, though, you go past your channel, right? So, like, you eventually start there, you start from the beginning, of like having like the basic products, the basic gear to stardom to, hundreds of thousands of subscribers or more to getting sponsorships, all that other jazz. And then I feel like eventually you go past that where like you still have your YouTube channel because that's still your bread and butter. But now you have your own merchandise, you have your own makeup line, or you have some of the gamers that I was looking at have their own graphic novels now that are doing very well. Like you
Yeah.
will eventually go past that where if something were to happen, you don't really need your channel anymore. You know what I mean? You don't really need your
Yeah.
channel anymore. Like you've leveled up.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So like um there it's there's light at the end of the tunnel if this is something that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that for you and for us.
I think it's a light at the end of the tunnel though, but I also think it's just I think it's gonna be a strange shift and pattern in, I hate to say it, but like our job market. Like this is
Oh yeah.
starting to become more and more and I think some of it's, and I hate to say it, but I think some of it's like young kids have just like, why the fuck do I need an education? And like I'm just gonna get popular on the internet and just make money.
Yeah.
Which like, that's, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think that's like probably the right way to go per se. Um,
Yeah, I mean I think it depends on the kind of person
yeah,
that
true.
eventually
Yeah.
does that. But
Yeah.
like kind of like going off of what you're saying, like there are new like I don't know the exact title of the job, but it's essentially just doing a business's social media is a job in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, there's
Microphones here.
plenty of people who are hired just to run social media accounts
Yeah.
for a business. And I think that probably started as like, is hey Bob, you got time on the weekend? Like, just run my shit for me.
Yeah.
I'll throw you like an extra couple $100 a month or whatever. And now it's like, no, really, like,
It is a full-time job. Like
yeah,
if you the people there has to be an entire team of people that run ColourPop's Instagram account
yeah,
because not only they're posting daily, but it is multiple times a day. So they are constantly in your face. So they not only post multiple times a day on their Instagram, but on their Twitter. I don't know if they have a Facebook, but just with those two things alone, they have to have an entire team of people.
yep,
And then they have people that post on their story.
yeah.
So
So
like,
it's like you said, it's just constant content, and it's like I said, I'm curious to see in the next like 10 to 15 years, job market wise, how that's going to be a huge shift to where something was just like a hobby or just like,
yeah.
an outlet or just for fun. You just, kind of get in and it's just a mindless type of entertainment turns into like a multi-million dollar enterprise and career and
Yeah.
needing people essentially to run that. So again, it's just a new form of marketing is all it is.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
That's all it is in a nutshell, but it's just become just such a juggernaut because there's so many different outlets that you can venture into.
Yeah. It's endless, which is kind of good, but also kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, how are we gonna handle all of this? But
How are we all going to
so
handle all this? And then I think kind of like a segue into our next episode is how are you going to sift through the bullshit? Because
yes.
there's just so much fucking
Good
content.
segue. Good
Yeah.
segue.
Sometimes it's basically the only thing I contributed to this episode.
This is why I pay her the big bucks.
She doesn't pay me anything.
I
She
gave her
lies.
food
Did you?
last week.
You did. Thank you.
Bitch.
Anybody who really knows me, like I legit will work for good food, not shit food. Good
Yeah,
food.
tequila, not the drink,
The
but the
restaurant
restaurant.
is garbage Mexican food.
Yes. And also, fuck you, Grubhub.
Yeah, with your goddamn fees and constant bullshit drive. You're 2 miles outside of the delivery zone. all of a sudden,
Fuckers.
on our way there, we don't want to deliver.
You're taking advantage of our laziness and you're trying to profit from us.
So no more. We will no longer use them and or DoorDash. This last time I tried to use the one time I used DoorDash, that was a fucking nightmare
Oh
too.
my God.
Took
And
us
there
2 hours to get our food.
is. And there's nothing around here that does Uber Eats, but when we were in New York, it was fantastic. So thank you.
I can't speak to Uber Eats. I've never tried to use it, so
Yeah. And I have not used Postmates, but they keep sending me emails.
so
Anyway, to try to wrap all of this up, did we kind of wrap it up? No, we
I'm
didn't.
gonna say we did. So in a nutshell, when you're looking at these YouTubers that are making millions of dollars and you don't understand why, because they're just posting videos or they're just posting videos of them playing a fucking video game, whatever, or opening boxes of product. Um, it's honestly like it's a legitimate career at this point. You watching the content is contributing to it. If you don't like it, don't watch.
Yeah, you're part of the problem. So if you hate watch, if you're one to hate watch, you're giving them views, even if you don't subscribe.
Yeah.
So like that's you're adding to the problem.
But I think in a nutshell though, like you said, it takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of risk, and just a lot of like gusto to keep that momentum
Mhm.
going and keep that vision going and just putting yourself out there and again like too I think we didn't touch on this at all but putting yourself out there constantly on the internet to be scrutinized by millions of
Yeah.
people.
So that could be like a mental health pitfall and also just the possibility of burnout because once you get to a point where like you're making money off of this, you have to keep doing it if you want to keep making money.
Yeah. So I think that's where people kind of come to an impasse who are working a full-time job, like their money making job that's paying their bills and doing this where it's like, all right, I'm starting to make money off of this and you're starting to realize the amount of work and the effort that you need to put into it, but also the risk is like you said, can I sustain this
Yeah.
mentally and emotionally or maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
So I mean I think though when you guys are seeing these people who are making millions of dollars that are on YouTube and like I don't understand how like this seems so simple. I don't understand why these people are millionaires. It's
There's
not
a lot more behind the scenes that goes
so much
into it.
more.
And that is their job now. That is how they make money. And like you said, there's other ways that they can make money, but that's still,
That's how they got started with
yeah.
it, and that's still their bread and butter. And I think, again, I think as we look over the job market over the next few years, like this is going to be something that's just going to be a huge shift, and you're going to start seeing more and more.
Hmm.
So grandmas like me are going to be left in the dust.
Yeah. You get fucking keep up, Grams.
No.
You got it. Instagram.
Oh my god.
Anyway, with all of that, speaking of Instagram, you should follow all of our socials.
Yes.
We have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram, and we have a Twitter. We also now have YouTube. So if you look up No, I'm Just a Worm, you should be able to find us on all of the things, even if the page title says Glitter Budget.
Yeah. So we're going to be transitioning
Some of
most
them.
of them. Some, not all, but some.
But yes, but you can still, even if you still search No, I'm Just a Worm, you will find us. But the title of the page might still say Glitter Budget, which is still related to us. But
Watch,
there's
listen to our first ever episode, and you will understand where glitter budget comes into play.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you liked it, if you're on YouTube and you're liking this, like and subscribe. Yay! If you're listening in, follow all of our socials. Also, like and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you. And with all of that, we'll see you next time.